Well, it's that time of the year again. And what time is that? Well, it's time for some uncomfortably graphic abuse of male genitalia. And that never gets old. Buddy Games is brought to us by director Josh Duhamel and stars Josh Duhamel as Bob. Bob and his 5 lifelong friends get together every year and do something called the Buddy Games. And what are the Buddy Games, you ask? Well, they are more or less a series of games that increase in debauchery as they go along. These guys are consistently trying to one-up each other and going through the most rigorous and disgusting at times games to see who can be champion of the year. However, after a very unfortunate accident bestows longtime Buddy Games champion Shelly, played by Dan Beckedahl, the games go on a 5-year hiatus and the friends eventually start to drift apart. You see, Shelly's very unfortunate accident was accidentally perpetrated by one of their other friends, Bender, played by Nick Swardson. And considering the nature of this accident, Shelly wants absolutely nothing to do with Bender ever again. What was this accident, you ask? Well, without getting too graphic, let's just say that Shelly will never again have any issues participating wholeheartedly in No Nut November. Emphasis on the no nuts part. After 5 years, the guys have all gone their separate ways, and Bob gets contacted by Shelly's mother, telling him that, you know, Shelly's not doing so hot since this incident. In fact, Shelly's on the verge of suicide, and what he needs is a win. He needs something to get him back into life. And she urges Bob to get the gang back together and go have the Buddy Games again because that was one of Shelly's bright spots in his life. Except for that last one when that unfortunate accident happened, that probably wasn't a very bright spot in his life. I'm pretty sure about that. But as a whole, the Buddy Games have been a bright spot in his life. So Bob gets the gang back together and they all go back out to the woods for this year's Buddy Games. However, understandably so, Shelly isn't quite as forgiving as some of them. And upon Bender's arrival at the cabin, things get a bit odd. The two supposedly break bread and everybody gets ready for this year's game. And what we get is a weekend full of raunchy, racy, no-holds-barred debauchery. Buddy Games is a movie that when I saw the trailer, I honestly kind of overlooked it. I didn't really think there was gonna be much to this movie. Sure, there's some funny parts in the trailer, but how many times have we seen a movie that had some funny parts in the trailer, but then you see the movie and you're like, oh shit, this sucks. Not even the funny parts from the trailer are funny anymore. And that's really what I pegged this movie to be. So color me surprised when I watched it and it was actually pretty fucking funny. Raunchy comedies are really hit or miss with me. Some of them I really like, and then some of them I find so grating that I want to like peel my fucking eyeballs out while I watch them. And really, I don't know what the thing is about the ones I like versus the ones I don't. It may have something to do with stupidity. I don't like just straight stupidity for stupidity's sake. So if you have a comedy that's just fucking stupid, and I mean like stupid for no reason at all but to just be fucking stupid, I'm probably not gonna be down with that. But if you have a comedy that has some smarts to it, and I don't mean it's like highbrow comedy, it can be lowbrow, it can be raunchy, and it can appear to be stupid. But at the heart of it, there's actually some smarts. These are the kind of raunchy comedies I usually gravitate towards more. Usually, I mean, this is coming from a guy who loves The First Joe Dirt, and believe me, there's no fucking smarts in that movie, but I love that shit. Now, I'm not saying this is like the smartest movie ever made. It's absolutely not. But you could tell that they actually put some thought into the gags they did. The vast majority of these gags are very gross out in nature, and that's fine. But the funny parts come less from the gag itself and more from the people's reaction to the gag. There's some really smart, funny comebacks in this movie. And once again, that's not saying that everything that they're saying is smart, but the fact that the movie knows to focus on those reactions as much as the gag itself, and the legitimate on-point comedic timing of these actors, makes Buddy Games a really funny ride. And from a story perspective, it's fairly light. It's more or less just a vehicle to get our characters into a situation where they can have this raunchy good time. And I'm okay with that because once they're put into these situations, they're really funny situations. Now, most of them are pretty over the fucking top per usual, but they're just believable enough to be that right kind of funny. This movie did have quite a few laugh out loud moments, and honestly, especially in 2020, that's really what we need, and we haven't gotten a lot of. The movie doesn't really concern itself with any kind of deeper message or have something to say. No, it is just here to make you laugh, and it does succeed at that. Is the story light? Fuck yes it is. There's hardly anything at all going on here story-wise. There's enough to keep us invested, I guess, but that's about it. Just enough. But because of the situations it puts these really funny characters in, it all works. Now we do have a fairly good main cast of characters that are no strangers to comedy. I wouldn't necessarily say that all these guys are outright comedians, but many of them have been in comedies before, and their comedic timing, especially together, is just right. Duhamel, Swartzen, and Bacadal all do a great job here, but so does the other half of the six friends, played by Dax Shepard, Kevin Dillon, and James Roday. These guys all together are just right. You really believe these guys have been lifelong friends and given each other shit for years. The vast majority of these characters, for the most part, don't go over the top. They try and stay somewhat subdued in their roles. And that's a good thing, because if I had 6 actors sitting there like Jim Carreying or Tom Greening out, I think it would be a bit much. Instead, we get one, and that would be Nick Swartzen. And he does a really good job as that over-the-top, really fucking out there guy. He plays that friend that you can tell that they all like because he's been their friend for years, but they don't necessarily all want him to show up. Like, you know, he's their friend and they care about him, but when he shows up, they know shit's gonna get a little bit too out there. He's gonna take everything a bit too far. And that is absolutely what he does. Now, that's not to say that some of the other characters don't take things a bit too far at times, but he is definitely the one that is over the top from beginning to end. And his over-the-top antics mixed in with their more or less subdued performances really worked. If they were all just like over the fucking top, then their reactions wouldn't really mean much. When you see these more or less subdued characters reacting big to something really fucking out there, you can relate with that and it's more funny. We've also got a bevy of cameos throughout the movie from the likes of Olivia Munn, Neil McDonough, Jensen Ackles, and many more. And while none of these characters really stick around for long, the bit parts that they're in are very entertaining. Overall, the performances here all fit really nicely in with this raunchy little comedy. Everybody was right on with their timing in comedy, and nobody, with the exception of Swanson, was too much, but it was okay to have that one guy that was too much amongst everybody else. The movie does have some limited effects, and they all look pretty good, but for the most part, it's pretty light. I mean, we're not talking Avatar level special effects here or anything. Overall, what we got does work, and the movie as a whole does look really good. It's shot competently, it looks nice, I mean, it's a quality looking film all around. Guys, the Buddy Games was a lot funnier than I ever expected it to be. It's a very solid comedy all around with some legit laugh out loud moments throughout. And it is the perfect medicine for 2020. Is it the next Something About Mary or Dumb and Dumber? No, but it is very funny and a very solid comedy that I guarantee that you'll have some really good laughs with. And because of that, Buddy Games is absolutely worth a rent.
All he wanted was, hey, this.
I have to return some videotape.
This is a really funny movie with some genuine laugh out loud moments. If you're looking for a raunchy, funny adult comedy for the night, then check out Buddy Games and you won't be disappointed. So there it is, guys, my review of Buddy Games. If you enjoyed and want more content like this, hit that subscribe button and help my little channel grow. If you liked what I had to say, give me a like. If not, let me know in the comments below why. And as always, stay sexy, Bakersfield.
God damn, dude!
So this movie is really funny and really raunchy, and it shows pretty much a lot. It shows pretty much everything. And there's a thing that they talk about, that unfortunate accident I spoke about earlier in the review. They talk about it throughout the movie quite a bit, but we don't actually see the actual accident happen in detail until a bit closer to the end of the movie. And when we do see it, you see it in great detail. Probably more detail than most men will appreciate. It's pretty rough, man. I mean, you're not expecting it to be that detailed when it shows what happened, and it's just kind of, whew. That's tough. That sucks. Damn. I mean, it's only guys can get it. Only guys will understand. I mean, damn. Makes me want to pour some out for his homies. But fuck that, I'm not cleaning this shit up.